This is Worth Kick Legend, where I help you athleticize your art and put art into your fight. I've started using this line because I feel it distills what I'm trying to accomplish quite well, which is to bring balance to your training. It's easy to lose sight of one aspect or the other. If you are just kind of doing a very theoretical kung fu or FMA kind of training without a huge focus on functionality, just enjoying martial art for enjoying martial art, or if you're training just for competition and fighting, it's easy to lose sight of the other half of the equation, which I feel is a problem. If you don't have the athleticism, you're really going to not be able to enjoy the physical aspect of the art. And martial arts is just human movement in space. So without athleticism, the manifestation of your art is going to be, quite frankly, less enjoyable. And while at the time you're trying to compete, it is appropriate to focus, we want to make sure to remember to broaden our scope once again once we're out of gearing up for events, to make sure we have a full appreciation of the art, which will add to our enjoyment and longevity. I'm hoping to engage more martial artists, and as I get engagement, I'm very interested in hearing about what you had to do or modify to get it to work for you, what didn't work for you and why you felt you just couldn't get it to work. I'm not super interested in blanket statements about this doesn't work, this is bullshit, this will get you killed. Eric Paulson has a great line about how a sufficiently talented athlete can make anything work, whether that's just kind of a bam bam bonk to the head or a jump spinning sidekick. If you're sufficiently good, you're going to make it work for you. Similarly, in a sufficiently bad situation, nothing is going to work for you. So context is important, and quite frankly, a lot of martial artists live in this very weird world where their truth has maximal value over everyone else's. And quite frankly, I think, one, it's very ignorant, and two, a lot of it has to do with insecurity and pride. Even for the people who are living in this kind of functional martial arts world, what are you doing not having a bodyguard team? If you feel that other people are so stupid about the threats that are constantly around them, why are you so terrible at life that you don't have a full-time, at least 2 bodyguards on payroll? So if you can't do that, maybe you should stop devaluating the way other people look at martial arts, because your way is probably bullshit. If you're living life correctly, if you're winning at life, you don't need martial arts for self-defense. Just say, it can add to enjoyment. On the odd chance that it's going to happen, better to have it than not. But quite frankly, how many billionaires do you know who are also great martial artists? No, they're too busy kicking ass at all the stuff that matters. So I think it's important to take a step back from that every now and again and stop using excuses to justify why what you do is so important. It's just martial art. It can be a very powerful tool to improve people's lives, just like everything else can. So that being said, I think what I've been thinking about recently is how to put people on a common training platform. We're trying to reach out to other martial artists to get kind of a training group, and even people in similar arts don't always have the same priorities, don't always have the same training mechanisms. I feel that live drilling, meaning reaction drills, technique from flow, and kind of timing sparring are some of the most beneficial ways to get better. Even if we have the physical wherewithal to withstand full contact sparring or fighting, it doesn't give us the mental space to improve and reflect upon what happened. You might be able to look at footage afterwards and kind of be like, oh yeah, I should have done that. But you'll not even have the mental memory of it because you're too busy in the fray and in the melee. So dialing it down, even if your goal is functionality, is incredibly useful. And that's why I do a lot of videos with Kurt about Hubat, because I feel that that is one great example of drilling from flow, learning how to react and put in different kinds of techniques and figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. And I think as we move forward, we want to think of other training platforms that people use. I'm familiar with what I'm familiar with, and if other people have a platform that you could teach to someone or an experienced martial artist in like about 10 minutes and then be getting reaction-based live training in, I'd love to hear about it and do a video on it, because I think the larger repertoire we have of that, the more martial artists we can fit under a kind of occasional training umbrella, which helps build community and knowledge, right? The more people we get involved in our training, the more different kinds of energies we're going to see, the more different kinds of context we're going to be able to put to the movements we already know. I encourage you to stop thinking in terms of the theory of your art. Wing Chun is famous for this, so I'm just going to pick on Wing Chun a little bit. It's very theoretical, right? Concepts about center line and how you use your footwork and your positioning are very powerful, but if you can't make the truth work for you, you can't really continue to justify the art based on the theory. It works for you or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you need to be honest with yourself about that and think about why it's not working for you, because otherwise you're chasing a model that you think exists, which is why I always say a little Wing Chun is a dangerous thing, because at least my experience of it has been very theory heavy, so I'm trying to make something work the way it was described to me, but without the full picture, I'm trying to force something into a situation that's not appropriate. And you know, if you're going to progress through the art the whole way until you have a full understanding, that's great. But along the way, it can be very frustrating. And quite frankly, I meet plenty of people who think they've gone all the way who don't really know a lot about martial art. And I'm not saying this only applies to Wing Chun, it applies to everybody, including myself, right? But I think it's about matching our expectation and our framework with both reality and in a way that's actually constructive. If you are not worried about being a badass, it's a lot easy to become a badass. And similarly, if you're not worried about showing people what you know and showing people how good you are, but just kind of be interested in getting better and building community, you're going to find you achieve your goals a lot faster. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Please write in with your comments. I kind of took this opportunity to get to learn some of my lighting gear because I'm a little under the weather, so rather than film a kind of half-assed Tide Pad Tuesday, I'm getting to learn how to use my fill light. I have kind of fading ambient light here with the sunset, so I had to move the fill light throughout the course of filming, and hopefully this will help me bring you better looking episodes in the future. This is World Kick Legend. Keep your chin down and rate your striking.